Good morning, YouTube. Nice to see you all. How are you today? Okay? Just getting all sorted and all warmed up and all ready. Looking okay. Yes, glasses on, hair done. Good. How about you? Okay this morning? Good. I thought we were going to have some sunshine a minute ago, but no. Here in the middle of the UK, it's decided against it. So, welcome to UkuleleRocks live stream with me, Mr. C. And today is called the G7 Summit. Now, I quite like the idea of the G7. You know, we like a few puns around here. Well, today is all about the G7 chord. Now, the G7 chord, as I'm sure a lot of you know, is not the easiest. Good morning, Roger. Good morning, Erica. Thank you for checking in. Not the easiest chord, especially for beginners, mainly because it involves 3 fingers. It's our first 3-finger chord, really. And I like its progression. On UkuleleRocks, we do the natural progression from C to F and then to G7, not to G. And again, bone of contention. I like a few bone of contentions. And I think it's a more natural progression. It's more natural for your fingers to progress onto G7 instead of G. And I think this morning we'll probably find out. Sorry, Erica, you're making me smile. You can't get the hang of the G7. Well, you've come to the right place. You really do. So this morning, we're going to go through the very first introductory piece called How I Lang to Go to C. And we'll explain the title in a moment to introduce the chord of G7. Then we're going to get onto a couple of songs that use G7, but they use it in a bit more of a gentler way, nothing too dramatic. So we're going to do Knees Up Mother Brown, a traditional good old fun sing-song song. And then we're going to do a song called Run Rabbit. Run Rabbit, a little bit trickier, and they've only got 2 chords in it, and you have to jump from the C to the G7, but as you'll see, it'll be a bit easier, and I've got a few tricks up my sleeve to help you with that. And finally, the 12-bar blues. Now, I do a lot of teaching the 12-bar blues, and we're going to do a little very basic 12-bar blues today. We can make it more complicated, and when we get to it, I'll explain how and why. So, ready? Good. Grab your ukuleles if you haven't already, if you've got them, or if you're sitting on a beach in Scotland somewhere, you'll have to sing along. Just check you're in tune. I checked and checked. I wasn't too sure. There we are. Oh, my good old trusty Amiga Zedro. Morning, Mr. Warnes. He's probably not watching. Okay, How I Lang to Go to C. How I Lang to Go to C is on the website at www.ukelelerocks.co.uk. And it's a progression to get from the chord of F, which by now we're kind of getting a bit more familiar with, to G7, introducing it. So let's start off with just going through the chords very gently. First of all, we have a chord of F, which is your first finger on string number 2, and your second finger on string number 4. Mine sounds like this. How's yours? Okay. Now, what we're going to do now, we're going to do a lot of this today. We're going to do a technique called sticky fingers. And sticky fingers are where you leave fingers down in chords. It helps to aid the transition a lot easier. And for us, finger number 1 is our sticky finger, so I'm not going to move it. For the next chord in How I Lang to Go to C, it's called G9. It's got a few chords, but a few names, sorry, but we'll call it G9. You're going to take your second finger and drop it down to the C string, still in the 2nd fret. Beautiful sounding chord. There's mine. How's yours? G9. I like G9. 9 chords do sound nice on the ukulele. I use C9 a lot as well. So there we have our 2 fingers. Now they're both now our sticky fingers. They're going to stay still and come to our troublesome 3rd finger, because next it's that G7. Now the G7 chord has our 3rd finger on the A string on string number 1 in space number 2. And that's the trickiness, because a lot of people find that it naturally falls into that 3rd fret, which is a beautiful chord, but completely different. We don't want it today. So your 3rd finger falls into space number 2 on the A string, and we have finally that G7. How's mine? Sorry, how's mine? Mine's all right, thanks very much. How's yours? There's my G7. Now, as always, take your fingers off. Give them a rest. When we're learning new things on an instrument, it can get a bit tiring. Remember to breathe. Yes, I should try and breathe. I should pause between talking. I think sometimes, you know, miracles might happen. Take your fingers off. Give them a waggle, whatever feels comfortable for you. Remember, tingly fingers. Grab that big muscle at the top of the leg. Give it a squeeze. Let's try those chords again, shall we? Chord of F we started with. Second string, fourth string. And then we drop the second finger down to the C string. The first finger doesn't move. Sticky finger. G9. And then the third finger is going to drop in onto the A string. The first finger in fret number 2. G7. And finally, we are going to have a chord of C in this piece. So it's going to shove up to C. How was that? Quick fly through again. Chord of F. Got your chord of F. And as always, sometimes it's better if you don't play. So drop down, G9. 2 sticky fingers. Drop down onto the G7. Fret number 2, remember. And a chord of C. Now, when we put it into the piece, as always, you can download the sheet, the music sheet from UkuleleRocks.co.uk, and you'll see that we're going to play these chords in a kind of pattern of 2s. So we're actually going to start with our chord of F and play it twice. 1, 2, and then we're going to put 2 beats rest, or 2 shushes. Now, sometimes when we teach our younger friends, then they do like to do the shushes. You don't have to. 1, then G9, in 2s, G7, and push up to C 4 times. 1, 2, 3, back to F. We do it again. Still in the 2s, drop down to G9, G7, drop in, and then 5 times to finish it. 1, 2, 3, 4, and finish. So that's how we're introducing that G7 chord. And there is a backing track. It's a bit of an old school backing track, I've got to admit. I did it a long time ago. So there's no counting. You'll hear 4 clicks on a set of claves, actually. And then it's mainly me playing things to go with it. So let's try it along with it. And be ready. It's pretty quick. It's pretty straight away. Got your chord of F ready? I'm going to click the backing track and hold my chord of F at the same time. G9, G7, chord of C, back to F, G9, drop down, G7, push up to C, finish. That was a bit quicker, wasn't it? All right, let's try it one more time, but this time I'll put the backing track on and there we go. So that's a little introduction how to get into a G7. Now, as always, I feel a bit guilty in these sort of live streams because it's hard to judge if people are playing along. And I know lots of people do, but you're thinking, I'd like to spend more time and get on with it. But we're going to push on. Remember, you can always look back. You can pause the video, go over it, use it however best it is for you. We're going to move on now to the first of our songs. Now, the first of our songs, we're going to do Knees Up, Mother Brown. Now, I just did the video for this yesterday. It's going on YouTube shortly today. I've just got to do a last bit of editing for it. And I talked on the video of it being a 3-chord trick. Now, a 3-chord trick is obviously, it's a song with 3 chords in it. But there are very specific chords. It's chord 1, chord 4, and chord 5 of the scale. So what that means is that we're going to do a 3-chord trick in C. So we're going to need a chord of C, which is our chord number 1. We're also going to need a chord of F, which will be our chord C, D, E, F, chord number 4. And also, it won't surprise you, for the purposes of this morning's live stream, we're going to need chord 5, which of course C, D, E, F, G, 7. Okay, so let's have a quick run through those chords, because there's something I want to show you here. Starts off with the chord of C, 1, 2, 3 fingers on the A string. 1, 2, 3 makes a chord of C. Bum bum. There's mine. How's yours? Should be okay, I would imagine. Then it needs your chord of F. First finger on the second string, second finger on the fourth string. How's yours? Okay, good. Now, G7. Remember sticky fingers. Keep the first finger down, drop your second finger down, drop into that G7. Got your G7. Good. Now, here's the real trick. After G7, usually it has to resolve, it has to finish and go to the, it's called a tonic chord, or the first chord, which for us is C. Now, what I like to do here is I not only have a sticky finger with my third finger, I have a sticky slidey finger. So I'm just going to push it up the string to get to my chord of C. Instead of all this lifting off and bashing back down wherever it may go, I've got my chord of G7, and I'm just going to push and slide it up the strings. I hope you can make that out. I'll turn it around, maybe not quite so much glare. There's the G7, third finger is just going to slide up to the 3rd fret, chord of C. And I think you'll find that quite useful. Now, as always, I have my trusty lyric sheet here, because those people that may know me, the one thing I don't do is remember lyrics. I'm terrible at remembering lyrics. With Knees Up Mother Brown, we're going to do the verse and the chorus, and then back to the verse to finish it. So, join in with the singing. And again, if you don't feel like you want to join in with the chords just this time, pause the video, go back to it. Don't watch it live. Don't worry about it. Go back when it's on YouTube and have a look at it then. We're going to go through the whole song now. Okay, and we're going to take it a little bit steady, and the gentle strum. Again, I'll try and show you where we're going to change those chords. Remember about your sticky first finger. Remember about your shoving up to C. Okay, all right, let's have a go. Starts with the chord of C, a little introduction, and then I'll count you into the song. 1, 2, 3, a strum out. 1, 2, off we go. Knees up, Mother Brown. Knees up, Mother Brown. Under the table you must go. E-I-E-I-E-I-O. If I catch you bending, I'll saw your legs right off. Knees up, never get the breeze up. Knees up, Mother Brown. Oh my, what a rotten song. What a rotten song. What a rotten song. Oh my, what a rotten song. Oh, what a rotten singer too. Knees up, Mother Brown, bit faster. Knees up, Mother Brown. Under the table you must go. E-I-E-I-E-I-O. If I catch you bending, I'll saw your legs right off. Knees up, never get the breeze up. Knees up, Mother Brown. How was that? How was that? It did break our rule though. Did you notice in the chorus? I said G7 always has to go to C. It didn't, did it? It went back to F. But again, if you've got your sticky finger for that G7 and it goes back, it should be easy to get from G7 to that F chord. Easier, sorry, not easy, easier, because it's not an easy chord. And it does take a bit of practice. So there we go. Right, let's move on. Let's move on. We're sticking with a wartime theme at the moment. Knees Up, Mother Brown's famous for being a wartime song. And our next song we're going to move on to is Run Rabbit. I was talking about this yesterday. And to a friend of mine, and she's saying, always used to bother me a little bit when I used to do Run Rabbit as a little girl. I said, yes, I know what you mean. Yeah. No ukulele. Oh, thank you, Roger. Goodness, really what Roger's doing. Roger's singing along somewhere in Scotland on a beach, I'm sure. Good. Well, you'll be able to sing along to this, Roger. Run Rabbit. I like Run Rabbit, but it's not a very pretty, nice song, is it, really? Get out of here before the farmer shoots you a bit. Okay. Now, for us, Run Rabbit has got 2 chords, not a 3-chord trick, as we discussed with Knees Up, Mother Brown, 2 chords, and it's C to G7. Now, again, this is where we're going to really, really endorse this sticky slidey finger, because C slide it back, and then make your G7. So we're going to go about it slightly differently. We're not going to take all the fingers off and start with 1, 2, 3, put it back down. We're going to try here and get this third finger to slide back into the second fret, and then 1, 2, our other fingers down on string number 2, string number 3. Okay, so again, as always, let's just try that for a moment. There's your chord of C. Slide that third finger back, 1, 2. Back to C, slide it forward. You can tuck your other fingers behind. You can leave them off if you really must, but personally, and preferably, keep them down. So there's our chord of C. Slide it back, 1, 2. Push it forward. Slide it back, 1, 2. Push it forward. Okay. Run Rabbit. All right, so let's have a go at this song. And I've got a backing track for this. Don't always use backing tracks for everything we do on Ukulele Rocks, but I quite like this one. And when I teach this to my younger friends, they're very, very fond of it as well, because I managed to get hold of a sample at the start of it. Listen carefully before we play it.
What's up, Jack?
Did you hear it? Yeah, well, you see, I thought if we're going to do a song about Run Rabbit, we better have the most famous rabbit, famous for running in the world, Bugs Bunny, on at the start. Okay, I'll turn it up a little bit and we'll have a go. And the backing track, good, it stops us getting too fast. Okay, 2 verses, and we're doing the whole song twice. Okay, and again, don't think there's a count in the second time. I'll help you out with it. Okay, here we go.
What's up, Jack?
Strum and 1, 2, 3, 4. Run, rabbit, run, rabbit, run, run, run. Run, rabbit, run, rabbit, run, run, run. Bang, 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 bang goes the farmer's gun. Run, rabbit, run, rabbit, run, run, run. Run, rabbit, run, rabbit, run, run, run. Don't give the farmer his fun, fun, fun. He'll get by without his rabbit pie. Run, rabbit, run, rabbit, run, run. One more time. Rabbit, run, rabbit, run, run, run. Run, rabbit, run, rabbit, run, run. Bang, bang goes the farmer's gun. I know you think I got it wrong, but we'll carry on. Run, rabbit, run, rabbit, run, run, run. Don't give the farmer his fun, fun, fun. He'll get by without his rabbit pie. So run, rabbit, run, rabbit, run, run, run. I only write the things. I don't actually listen to. Oh, I do listen to them. Sorry about that. Yes. Might be in a slight little mistake there, getting round the loops and wrapping it round. I think there might have been a second introduction the second time. Oh, well, there we go. There we go. Good morning, Mr. Taylor. Oh, hi, Rob. Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed that as well. Okay. Quick drink. If you do play it without the backing track, it is quite a lot of fun to speed that up. But just remember that chord of C. Slide it back. Slide it back. It makes it a lot easier to change. Okay, and finally, I know Mr. Taylor here was rather excited about this, I think, earlier this week. It's nice to see. The 12-bar blues. I'm very, very fortunate. I do a little bit of work for Birmingham Jazz Festival, and I've been doing their festival for the last, oh, goodness me, 5 years, I think. I think I've done it 5 years now. And I have a workshop that I take there all over the city of Birmingham, and Sandwell and Solihull, as I seem to think it's now called. And I do this 12-bar blues workshop, so you can go from nothing to 12-bar blues in one workshop. It takes about 40 minutes, and it's okay. It's good, actually. It's good fun. I like it. And this is the final. This is the pinnacle of it, the 12-bar blues that I teach. Now, today we're going to do a very basic 12-bar blues because, excuse me, the enjoyable thing about 12-bar blues is it can be as complicated as you like. On the website, on the UkuleleRocks website, there are two versions of it straight away. There is a straightforward version, which we're going to go through today. And then there's a more complicated version involving more seventh chords to really give it that sort of jazzy feel. We're going to do the standard version today. And like I said, you can take it wherever you want. You can do all your walks and all the rest of it that you can do in your 12-bar blues, and maybe that for another day, should we? Okay, today we're going to do our standard 12-bar blues. Now, obviously, well, not obviously, let's not be patronizing, sorry, I apologize. If you don't know, 12-bar blues is so called because there are 12 sets of chords, a pattern of 12 bars, and they are always the same chords, but sometimes just depends what key you're playing, what your first chord that you start off at. And I like a bit of visualization. So it starts off 4 C's, then it changes 2 F's, back to 2 C's, G7, F, 2 C's at the end. Again, I'll shout them out. Don't worry, I'm not expecting you to remember them. It is on the website. You can find it, and there's a good printout you can use as well. 4 C's, 2 F's, 2 C's, G7, F, 2 C's. So I think at the end of each line, you have these 2 C's at the end. I could get that in my head. That helps me remember them. So let's have a gentle go. And first of all, we're going to play one chord every 4 beats. So that will go starting on a chord of C. We'll do our 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, third one, 2, 3, and then a fourth one. And then we're going to change to our chord of F. Got the idea so far? All right. So let's go through our basic 12-bar blues pattern in C. Starting off with that chord of C. Chord 1. Again, we need chord 1, 4, and 5. That's what the chords that are used in the 12-bar blues. So C, F, and G7. Let's have a go. Nice and steady. 1, 2, 3, 4. A 1, 2, a 3, a 4. A 2, 2, a 3, a 4. A 3, 2, a 3, a 4. A 4. Change to F and F2. One more F and back to C now and 2, a 3, a 4. Now G7, hop that first finger over, get that G7, reach up for it, second finger, third finger back in the second fret, G7, 2, change to F, keep your sticky finger, and then hop over to C, and another C to finish. There we go. Well done. Well done. That G7's always a little bit dodgy. It's one of those strange things. When I write it on the website, if you go and check it out on the website, I change the colours for the colours of the chord. I always put G7 in red. It's like, warning, G7. Here we are. Okay. Let's try this again. So chord of C. Ready. All right, maybe a little bit quicker. And this time, I'm not going to be quite so forgiving between the F chords and the G7 chords. 1, 2, 3, 4, a 1, 2, a 3, a 4, a 2, 2, a 3, a 4, a 3, 2, a 3, a 4, a 4, F, 3, and 2, a 3, a 4, and F, back to C, 3, a 4, and 2, a 3, a 4, again. G7, good luck, here we go, 3, first finger, and hop to F, 3, a 4, and over to C. And 2, a 3, and one more C. Very good. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Now we are going to have one more practice, and then we're going to put the backing track on. Now, when we do this piece, it is, I'm told by my website, it is 2 minutes and 11 seconds long, our 12-bar blues. That's because it repeats. And for the like of me, I never remember it. It's like going to be like another Run Rabbit, whether it's 4 times or 5 times, but we're going to do it in a certain pattern. More about that in a second. Let's have one last go at the 12-bar blues, and then we'll get on with the backing track. Okay, one last practice. Chord of C, please, to start off with. And this time we're going to do it nearly up to the tempo of the backing track. 1, 2, 3, 4. A 1, 2, a 3, a 4. A 1, 2, a 3, a 4. A 1, 2, a 3, a 4, a F, 2, 3, and change. 2, 3 again. Back to C, 3 and 4. 2. Good, well done. G7, last line, let's go. And F, 3, 4, C, 4, 2 and 3, and finish. How's that? Are you puffing and panting? All right, so on to the backing track. I like the backing track. It's got a really good groove. It's not one of my backing tracks, I have to say. And I've not nicked it before anybody accuses me. It was free. I'm allowed. All right, I like it's got a really good bass line on it. And the drum. This is the start. We're just having a listen for a minute. Just have a listen. This is what we're going to play along with. Nice little guitar groove going on there. A little bit of Hammond in the background. Okay, so that's what we're going to play along with. Now, because it happens so many times, it goes around, we're going to get into it. We're going to play it in 3 different ways. We're going to start off with our 1 strum every 4 beats. The second time, kind of poetic, we're going to do it in 2 strums. So 1, 2, do you remember when we were doing How I Lang to Go to See? Those 2 strums there. Same for this. 1, 2, take a bake. 1, 2, don't. Got it? The third time, and I'll tell you all this, don't worry about it, I'm not expecting to remember. You're going to strum it. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, which makes your changing a little bit more challenging because you've got to get change between that fast strum. Then we're back to 1s, and then finally I think it's a strum. I'm pretty sure it's 5 times. Could be 4. Never mind, you can all laugh at me when I count it wrong. I don't mind. So here we go, 12-bar blues with the backing track. Get your chord C ready. Good luck. Keep listening. Don't give up. Here we go. In 1s. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. F. And again. Back to C. G7, good luck. F. C. Same again in 2s. 1, 2. F. C. G7. F. C. Strum time. F. C. Gotta switch the phone off. G7. F. C. In 1s. You get a bit of a break now in 1s. F. Good, well done. Back to C. G7. F. C. Last time, I think, strum. I'm pretty sure it's the last time. F. C. G7. F. C. Now, big C7 ending. There you go. And finish. Oh, I really like that 12-bar blues. I do enjoy 12-bar blues, and I think it's great for all abilities because once you get a little bit, you can... You can do all sorts with it. You really can. And the best thing about blues music, I find, is when you're teaching it, is that as a beginner, it sounds better when it's slower. It's great. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. So that does kind of bring us to our end today. Just before we have our quick end of session recap, I would just remind you, finishing on that C7, reminding me, watching my very good friend, Mr. Bud, Daniel, or Mr. Dan Bud. If you're finding all this is a little bit, what's the word? Not easy. I don't like that word easy, because easy is it's not a good word for everybody. If this is a very basic and you've enjoyed this, but you found it not very challenging, I suggest you go and look up my good friend, Mr. Bud. Dan runs ukulelejam.co.uk. All right. And go and check him out. He does live streams nearly daily. If he's not doing a live stream of a set of songs, he does a live stream of one song so that you get very au fait with it. It just reminded me, finishing on that C7, that he's very big at these big finishes. He's full of energy, really energetic, really looking forward to it. Go and check out Dan at Ukulele Jam today. So going through it today, we had a little introduction to our How I Lang to Go to See, with our step through our chords to get to our G7, to practice our G7 there. We went on to do our singing and our songs with Knees Up Mother Brown, and I talked to you about those sticky fingers and that third finger sliding around to get to it. Really important for Run Rabbit Run. So Run Rabbit Run, again, practices those. That was our third piece, our third song. And finally, our 12-bar blues. And there's a lot of really good comments coming in quickly. Let's just address them very quickly. Nobody expects you in, what we are, 32 minutes to go, bang, G7, fantastic, here we go, no problem, all the way around. It's a musical instrument like anything. It needs work. It needs a bit of practice. And it's a very entertaining instrument, and it's a very accessible instrument. Still an instrument, still a discipline to practice. So don't beat yourself up if you're not getting it. Have a go. Keep going at it. And tune in on Thursday. Have a second go at it. Have that confidence of knowing what's coming up. Or have a second go with me then. Either way, really appreciate what was it. Rob says it. I'm struggling. Homework for the week, 12-bar blues. Absolutely. Erica's struggling between chords fast enough. It is difficult, Erica. It is difficult. It's all about muscle memory. Bless her. She's been trying for 2 weeks. I've been trying for 50 odd years. You know, keep trying. It's not an issue. Just keep trying. Just don't give up. Don't give up. Well, I hope you all enjoyed that today. It's been a nice little bit of chat going on. Thank you very much for that. I've certainly enjoyed presenting that. And like I said, check in on Thursday. Go and check out Dan at Ukulele Jam. And we'll see you all very soon. Ta-ra.